Hello and welcome back to Help Me Get a Job. Today, we will be learning about building your resume. The resume, the holy grail of the employment process. Ironically, very few, if any, classes or instructions are ever given about building this monumental step for employment. Why is that? That question is what sparked the start of my videos. Your resume. Your resume is a representation of you. In 1 to 2 pages, it should reflect all of your projects, education, prior work experience, and a clue of what you're looking for. Ideally, your resume should be 1 to 2 pages in length. Now that most things are done over the internet, that restriction is not as important as it once was. Many institutions are traditional, so it's always recommended to keep it to 1 to 2 pages. Once you start to collect work experience and projects, it is tough to restrict it to that size. I recommend you save your resume in a PDF format. Typically, people write their resumes in a Word document. This is great. Microsoft Word even has resume formats, and I've personally used them in the past. They're great. The important thing is, when you save as, select to save it as a PDF format. Why? For one, it keeps everything all in the same spot in terms of formatting. 2, it makes downloading and reading it from an employer recruiter standpoint much easier. 3rd, when saved as a PDF, someone can't modify it. They'd have to convert it to a Word document to make changes. Should I add a picture or headshot to my resume? There is no right answer to this question, and it's still hotly debated today. Some people like to show that this resume is a reflection of this person. On the other hand, sometimes resumes are modified by a recruiter, removing names and pronouns so the resume cannot be identified by an employer. This is a popular technique to remove any biases that may exist. This is completely up to you. I personally do not have a picture on my resume. Traditional resumes do not have pictures either. Things to add to your resume. We will dive into some of these things in further detail later in the video. Legal name. I would recommend that you add your legal first and last name. Some people use their full legal name, first, middle, last. Either is perfectly fine. Others will abbreviate their name. As an example, if my name was John Smith, they would call themselves JS. Please do not do this. This makes for a very awkward reach out from the recruiter. Some people say they want to remain confidential, but you really aren't hiding anything. I guess some fear that the company that they work for may find their resume online and fire that person. If this is the case, trust me, you don't want to be working for that company in the first place. State and area you live in. It is important to add an area that you live in. I do not recommend your full address. We'll touch base again on this. You don't want someone to find your resume and come find you. Add the city and state that you live in. This is important for recruiters when they are looking for someone that lives near a company. Typically, recruiters will search for local candidates and extend their searches further after exhausting the local search. Phone number. Unfortunately, there is no real way to hide your phone number. This is one of the 2 primary ways that an employer or recruiter is going to contact you. If you are uncomfortable putting your phone number on your resume, I'd advise creating a Google phone number or using an application to create a burner phone number. Either way, it's crucial for an employer to be able to reach out to you quickly. Email, the other most important way that an employer or recruiter will reach out to you. Other than your phone number and your relevant job experience, this is one of the most important things. Education. It is important to add your highest form of education, the school, the year of graduation, and any awards you might have received. The general rule is to not add anything before high school or GED. I really don't care where you went to middle school or elementary school. Relevant experience. This is the most important thing on your resume. Everything else is irrelevant compared to this. As an employer or recruiter, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for your relevant job experience and prior job duties. This is going to tell me if you are qualified to interview or not. I highly recommend going online and searching, quote, resume for whatever, quote, whatever the position you are looking for, and use that as an example. Awards and recognition. If you have received an award for doing something, again, relevant-wise, outstanding, then please add it. It shows the employer or recruiter that you go above and beyond. Certifications. Certifications show that you have a higher level of understanding and experience than others in a particular field. Certifications aren't for everything and can often be expensive. I suggest doing a quick search online to determine if there are certifications in the field that you work in. Believe it or not, Groupon offers discounted prices on some certifications. If you can get a certification, this will often lead to better employment chances and possibly more money in the future. I am a certified recruiter for individuals with disabilities. It took a long time and a lot of effort to get it, and I'm very proud to have obtained it. Additional tips. Location. Again, do not put your exact address on your resume. There are a lot of creepers out there, and you do not want them to know where you live. The location of where you live is important, but the exact address is not. State and area is helpful because recruiters and employers often look for candidates from specific areas. We will typically start local and extend our search broader. I would advise to add the city and state that you live in, and that's it. Keep it professional. Your best look first. I know we've talked about this already, and this is one of those times where you need to curb your sense of humor, any impulse to include anything that isn't professional. Unfortunately, you are judged initially and completely off your resume. Things not to add to your resume. This should look familiar. We spoke about this in an early video about building our LinkedIn. That's because your LinkedIn and resume should be very similar. Hobbies. Hobbies are great. Everyone should have a hobby. But they do not belong on your resume. As an employer and or recruiter, I really don't care about your hobby. Interests are another thing. Again, I don't want to sound harsh, but knowing that you like to ride bikes during the weekend does not help me determine if you are qualified to work a particular position. If you really want, you can add a small sentence at the very bottom of your resume listing your hobbies and interests. But again, I recommend you don't. I've seen them cause more harm than good. Experience not related to your industry. People love to share their experiences. Humans are social beings. I get it. But remember, time and place for everything. Resume is not one of them. The experience listed on your resume should directly relate to the industry you are applying for. If you don't have any similar prior experience, that's okay. As a recruiter or employer, I don't want to read through what I think is going to be relevant, and it isn't. Time is super valuable, especially when looking for qualified candidates. That being said, you also want to tailor your experience towards the job that you are seeking as well. As an example, if I'm trying to get a sales job, no one cares about my woodworking experience. However, I can include my woodworking experience as long as I highlight the sales aspect of selling my woodworking art pieces. Gender, race, ethnicity, and marriage status. It is actually against the law to ask about these things in the employment process. When applying online, I have seen a trend asking you these things. Not quite sure why it is okay. Not sure if you even have to fill it out. However, they are not needed on your resume. They can potentially count against you. Believe it or not, discrimination and bias is still very much alive throughout the world. Try to avoid any reference that can count against you in terms of bias and discrimination. Avoid the above is a good start. Email. Email. Back again to email. But it's because it's important. I highly recommend a very strong tip. Are you listening? Create a professional email. Please do this. Please take the 5 minutes to create an email that is something along the lines of first name, last name, at whatever the domain is. Keep the email address appropriate. I really shouldn't have to say this. If it is a professional email address. I get it. It's fun to make people laugh. I get it. Some people have very strong beliefs and opinions. That's okay, but not for your email address. Remember, first name, dot, last name, at, domain.com. I love to party at yahoo.com. I steal office equipment at gmail.com. Funny. Haha. This would be a great Twitter or Facebook thing. Again, not on your resume. I won't contact you. You just lost a job opportunity because you thought it was funny. This will seriously hinder your employment chances. Leave your sense of humor for after you get the job. Yes, I've come across this before and skipped right over the candidate. Even if the candidate is super qualified for the role, it shows that they are an at-risk employee because when you work for an employer, you are the poster of the company. What you do and act reflects the company. Relevant experience. List specific duties, skills, recognitions, awards, and projects as long as they are relevant to the job you are seeking. I need to know what you've been doing. I need to know what you're qualified to do. This will be the determining factor of whether we want to interview you or not. Include industry, technologies, duties, and words. If you can speak the specific jargon/lingo associated with a job, it will be quite apparent you are qualified and have the necessary expertise. Remember, even the smallest thing from the computer program that you use is relevant. Recruiters often target specific technologies and skills. The employers write the job description. They're writing a list of things that employees use or need at that company. As the recruiter, I will search LinkedIn and job boards for those specific words. That is why it is so important to include the above in your experience. You want your job to pop up when I search for those keywords. Include action words. Develop this, design this, assisted in this, initiated the, architected the. I recommend writing your resume first, then search for synonyms online for stronger action words. Instead of, I worked at the cashier, you can say, I processed numerous transactions. This is the hardest part of writing a great resume. Don't give up. Look online for examples. Format. I know we've touched base on this, but it's crucial. Many programs like Microsoft Word have templates for resumes. Use them. They are great. If you want something more unique, look online. But please, use a good format. It shouldn't matter, but it does matter. Bullet points. Use bullet points to explain your work experience. Avoid lengthy, wordy sentences. Like this presentation, each bullet point should only be 1 to 2 lines long. The shorter, the better. Keep it short. Keep it simple. There's an important design principle that has also been in many different TV shows. One of them, The Office. The acronym is KISS, K-I-S-S, and it stands for Keep It Simple, Stupid. Lastly, highlight specific duties and recognitions. I do not mean physically highlighting or bolding them. I just mean bringing more attention to them, making sure to really do a great job of explaining them. Hold with me. I know this has been a lot. You've taken the time to write a stellar resume. You've checked it once, you've checked it twice, you've had multiple friends read it to make sure it makes sense, and there are no errors. Now it's time to post your resume for others to find you. Writing a resume and not posting it, well, that just simply doesn't make any sense. The resume is to draw employers and recruiters to you. You need to get noticed, to be read, to be evaluated. Add it to your LinkedIn profile. I'd probably start with this first. Best place to be noticed. Dice.com, Monster.com, CareerBuilder.com. These are all online job boards. This is where employers and recruiters will go. Some before LinkedIn, some after. Post your resume to all of these. They are free exposure. And indeed. There you have it. We did it. We are on our way to employment. In summary, we've learned: keep it short and concise, 1 to 2 pages. Bullet points. Industry-related experience only. Highlight specific duties, technologies, skills, etc. And awards and recognitions. Congratulations! This was a big step towards your next job. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like my video. I have much more to share, each video more important than the last. I look forward to working with you through this journey. We can do it! Thank you, and until the next video, it's been a pleasure working with you.